Hey people, been a while. Genres in games are kinda whacked, aren't they? Like, in some ways, they can be pretty descriptive. Minecraft, for example, is a survival game, and Halo Infinite's a dumpster fire. Now, other games almost fit the bill, but they also go a bit beyond the confines of that genre. Like Hunt Showdown, for example, is a battle royale, but it's also sort of like a boss rush amongst other elements wrapped in a tactical shooter bow. And if you want to know more about that, please do click on a video that I made called Hunt Showdown something, I don't know. Now, I'm not too sure about any of you guys, but usually I go through phases and shit with my preferences for games. Like, usually when I'm lost in life, a little depressed, cruising through the void of nothingness, I tend to favor RPGs. I don't know. Something about the control I have in them contrasts quite nicely with the lack of control in my life, especially when I'm spiraling. Morbid bitching aside and trauma dumping saved for later, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring and a lot more Dungeons & Dragons. Which, let me set the record straight, Dungeons & Dragons is in fact the first Soulsborne of its kind. And yes, you are just bad at 4th edition because that's actually the best edition. And also for the record, Bloodborne is the best Silent Hill. No, I won't be elaborating. But that's just me rambling. To make a long video short, therein lies the whole point of the video, actually. What's with the genre names? Why so many? Why does it seem like every game has like 50 fucking genres? The thought process that prompted me to think of this entire video that you're watching was me thinking about Dungeons & Dragons and how it is technically the grandfather of all modern RPGs. At least where my game sessions are concerned. See, when we play, nothing's truly off the table. Sure, yes, we follow the dice rolls and the rules of the game, and we never try to cross any player's boundaries, and if we do, we set that straight. And yes, I typically do have a plot or at least a few encounters planned. But outside of that, I'm not afraid to venture off the beaten path. To let all hell break loose. It just sort of depends on my players, or if I'm playing at the time, and what we feel like doing. It's a role-playing game. We have something that we want to do, we do it. That's at least what a lot of people think of when they think of RPG. Oh, I could do anything the fuck I want. Okay, I actually have an example for this. So my friend was running a campaign, right? And he was new to being a DM. Also, here. I made this diagram to help you visualize what a DM or dungeon master is. So my poor friend, he had no idea. He let me make my character whatever the fuck I wanted it to be. He said with a smirk, your level will be irrelevant anyway. Go ahead and be a level 20. So I did. I made an old man named Iroh, who was a warlock, and I was pretty powerful. We got to playing, and my friend set the scene. I was on a boat that crashed on an isolated, dark, dreary island. He described it in a way that almost guaranteed and would have funneled me into the center of the island. But as soon as he let me start doing stuff, actually gave me control to play, I kinda opened a dimensional door and left. My character drank tea for about an hour. Now, of course, I eventually went back to his little dungeon and finished the campaign. It was absolutely hilarious. We had a blast. Okay, I had a blast. Now, I could go on and list my other D&D sessions and how outlandish those would get. How one of my players once opened a door by seducing it. That was after they cast a spell to make it sentient. How each session that I've ran with the same campaign template was different. And it was played very differently, and it varied, etc., etc. I could even talk about the Cyberpunk tabletop game and the story with my character, David Bologna. All of those could be their own video. But to my main point, this got me thinking back to games like Elden Ring, another RPG. Now, there is a lot of customization in Elden Ring, which is fantastic, honestly. You could be some sort of wizard and shoot magic out of every orifice. Or you can be a berserk reader and use a big sword, put your glasses on, and you can be whatever you want. There's so much to do in this game. But can you, as a player, sit Radon down and seduce him? No, I think not. As much of a missed opportunity that is, I'm not about to say that the genre of RPG is misplaced on Elden Ring, because that's almost irrelevant. But in general, the big picture, I think, is that the cultural zeitgeist has evolved in a way that is sort of favoring shorthand description, but we're not afraid of multiple labels at the same time. Basically, English isn't like the other girls. She's different. Now, from a business standpoint, it does make sense. Think about it. If you're making a first-person shooter or you're the one marketing for it, you'd probably want to reach as many people as possible. At the very least, you want to capture an audience. The best way to do that? Using examples and genres already there to give the player or customer a frame of reference. Oh yeah, this game I'm making? It's a first-person RPG hybrid. Think Halo meets Divinity Original Sin 2. And that's all well and good, right? From a functional consumer product meets customer standpoints, I'd say generally yes. It is not a problem. But it can lead to errors in classifying a game, or build wrong expectations for a game. This is actually the premise for an argument I had a long time ago with the same friend that I played Dungeons & Dragons with. He claimed Metroid Prime was a shooter, which is wrong. It is just wrong. See, Metroid Prime isn't like the other girls. She's different. I said, and I still believe that the only opinion to have is that Metroid Prime is better classified as an adventure game. If you wanted to get granular, it's an adventure game with first-person elements. If you wanted to be absolutely annoying, it's a first-person action-adventure Metroidvania with shooter and puzzle elements. Now, it has been a while since we had that argument, and really a while since we've both thought of it, but I think he made the point that shooting was a core mechanic, which is sort of fair. I still have trouble with that, but my main point is that the main mechanic or driving force of the game is exploring. All the tools in Metroid Prime are built for exploring. I'm not going to get into it, as he did eventually give me the win after I met his very weird, obtuse winning condition. You see, if I got the confirmation from one of the developers, he'd drop it. And I did. Alright, so I'm not too sure if I'm allowed to show anything. I'll ask him, but right now in the video I'll censor it, and if he says yes, later on I'll show it on Twitter or some shit. Give me a follow. Alright, so what the fuck am I talking about? Why all of this? Basically, naming conventions in games kinda suck. But I do have a fix. We need to look to the roots of the cause of the problem. We should reclassify Dungeons & Dragons as a sandbox tabletop game. This would fix most of our issues. You see, a sandbox game has a lot of systems that a player can mess with, similar to Dungeons & Dragons. In fact, some people might have actually cringed at my definition for RPG. Think about it. Most games are sandboxes already. Now, I know a lot of people don't like me calling Elden Ring an RPG, but what if we were to call it a Souls-like sandbox? Yeah, that's kind of a sexy name. That's probably better, right? No, names suck. Video over. Ooh-wee, been a minute. Yeah. Not really good at ending these things. I'm also streaming a lot more, so if you guys want to check out my Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Back to Twitch, I stream every Tuesday that I can. I'll announce if I can't or whatever. But yeah, life kind of kicked me in the balls, but I'm back, probably. Alright. Bye guys, you have a great day.